Continuing our conversation now with Chichi Maponya, businesswoman, entrepreneur and chairperson of Brand South Africa. We see the statistics, Chichi, about women in business, women in senior positions, women on boards. And I know it's not a South African phenomenon, it's around the world, but we're supposed to be better. What do you make of the current state of just the data?
It's really sad, that we are seemingly not reaching the targets. And we should not be target-driven. It must be intrinsic in the way that we do business. We must open up the pool of talent.
Yeah.
And talent is across gender. There are many talented young girls and women, but who don't get the same opportunities, who don't get the same recognition, the salary differences between male and female, It's really a pity that we have to constantly be reminding businesses to say, open up, promote more women into higher positions, into senior management, and onto the boards. Open up your boards' positions for other women. And there's also a tendency to select only a group.
Yes, and it's the same
and then
circle.
It's the same circle. You're sitting on 5-10 boards, and where is the transfer of skills? Where is the succession planning? Where is the opening up and making sure that with every board seat you are hoping that 2 others will be developed and trained and prepared for your succession?
Yeah.
But it should not only be women who do that. The men too need to play a part.
But it's also about bringing in a different type of thinking, isn't it, onto a board? Because if you end up with the same people, no new ideas, you become complacent and so on.
Absolutely. I think there are studies that are done in terms of how women approach challenges and how women go through a decision-making process in their minds and how women go through planning. I mean, just as an anecdote, somebody says, asks a man, how many pieces do you get out of a chicken? And the guy says, well, 2, maybe 4. If you want to stretch it, 6, And the woman says, no, it's probably 12 or 13 I can get out of that, But I mean, that's very simplistic.
Yes, but we think
there's an added value that you're bringing onto your team if you include women.
Have you found any challenges as a woman running your own business, meeting clients, trying to get business, making decisions on boards that are male-dominated?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges. You are still looked at as either a token, you were put in that position for gender parity, or because you are in the family business and you are there. The men never think that you have something to deliver or something to add. And then they say, oh, you're not like the others. And that really, gets to me. But we constantly have to break those walls and those barriers. And we have to work harder to make sure that we are respected for what we can contribute and for merit, not because we are female. And not because we are black female,
not because we are
which
black female also makes it, because there's a double problem that you're dealing with there. So what is it then? Is it hard work? Is it constantly pushing? How do you turn the tide?
It's hard work. It's knowing your story, being prepared all the time, so that and that requires hard work and dedication. But it should not happen only because you are a woman and you want to prove yourself. As a person, in anything that you commit yourself to, make sure that you give your time and dedication towards understanding and executing your duties correctly and efficiently, so.
When you meet young women who are starting out in business and they just are like, what do I need to do? How do I get there? What do you say to them?
I say to them, stay true to your passion. Know what you know what you don't know. Be open to learn. Because every day we learn. As much as we are knowledgeable in our space, but never ever assume that you know everything. Because the minute you do, you develop this arrogance about you, and it will affect the way you deal with other people and how much success you can get, because whenever you interact with people and they pick up that you're arrogant, you already create a wall and it impacts on how productive or effective you will be. But the minute you accept, be confident. Please, I'm not saying to not be confident.
There's a difference between confidence and arrogance,
but tone down on the arrogance. Know what you know and know what you don't know, and be open to learn.
So, looking then at where we are as a country, as an economy, are you hopeful? Do you look at it and go, we can do this, we can create the country and the economy and the future that we'd like to bestow on our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren?
I believe we can do it. It's not going to be an easy fit, but I believe we can do it. We all need to pull together. We need to really make sure that we're really behind each other, call on all the troops, and make sure that the legacy that we leave behind for our kids is something that we'll be proud of. They always say that, a Chinese saying that I always point to is that they say, if you want to learn about our history, look at our current conditions. But if you want to learn about our future, look at our current actions. What are we doing to make sure that we have a different outcome in terms of a different legacy that we want to leave behind for our kids? It should not be a legacy of poverty. It should not be a legacy of fighting. It should not be a legacy of peril. And therefore, what is it that we're required to be doing? In our own little communities, in our own little businesses, how are we making sure that we are changing people's lives? Education is such a liberator. So educate. Creating those jobs is very important. But we cannot do it alone. Everybody has to pull together.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for making the time for us today.
Thank you. Thanks.
Chichi Maponya is businesswoman, entrepreneur, and chairperson of Brand South Africa, bringing us to the end of this special edition of the SAfm Market Update with Moneyweb. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.